To live without philosophizing is in truth the same as keeping the eyes closed without attempting to open them. There is nothing so strange and so unbelievable that it has not been said by one philosopher or another. In order to seek truth, it is necessary once in the course of our life to doubt, as far as possible, of all things. Truths will be discovered by an individual rather than a whole people. The first precept was never to accept a thing as true until I knew it as such without a single doubt. One cannot conceive anything so strange and so implausible that it has not already been said by one philosopher or another. We do not describe the world we see the world we can describe. Because reason is the only thing that makes us men and distinguishes us from the beasts, I would prefer to believe that it exists in its entirety in each of us. To live without philosophizing is in truth the same as keeping the eyes closed without attempting to open them. It is in the nature of our mind to construct general propositions on the basis of our knowledge of particular ones. Our convictions result from custom and example very much more than from any knowledge that is certain. There is nothing more ancient than the truth. When it is not in our power to follow what is true, we ought to follow what is most probable. An optimist may see a light where there is none, but why must the pessimist always run to blow it out? I could not possibly be of such a nature as I am, and yet have in my mind the idea of a God, if God did not in reality exist. God created both myself and everything else. By God I understand a substance which is infinite, independent, supremely intelligent, supremely powerful. The reading of all good books is like conversation with the finest men of past centuries. When I was examining what I was, I realized that I could pretend that I had no body, but I could not pretend in the same way that I did not exist. With me, everything turns into mathematics. I paid special attention to arithmetic and geometry. But in my opinion, all things in nature occur mathematically. The two operations of our understanding, intuition and deduction, on which alone we have said we must rely in the acquisition of knowledge. Perfect numbers, like perfect men, are very rare. These long chains of perfectly simple and easy reasonings by means of which geometers are accustomed to carry out their most difficult demonstrations had led me to fancy that everything that can fall under human knowledge forms a similar sequence. Mathematics is a more powerful instrument of knowledge than any other that has been bequeathed to us by human agency. Among all those who up to this time made discoveries in the sciences, it was the mathematicians alone who had been able to arrive at demonstrations. For me, everything in nature is mathematics. If we possessed a thorough knowledge of all the parts of the seed of any animal, we could from that alone deduce the whole conformation and figure of each of its members. Each problem that I solved became a rule which served afterwards to solve other problems. If you would be a real seeker after truth, it is necessary that at least once in your life you doubt as far as possible all things. We never understand a thing so well and make it our own as when we have discovered it for ourselves. Everything is self-evident. If I found any new truths in the sciences, I can say that they follow from or depend on 5 or 6 principal problems which I succeeded in solving, and which I regard as so many battles where the fortunes of war were on my side. It is true that medicine as it is currently practiced contains little of much use. Divide each difficulty into as many parts as is feasible and necessary to resolve it. Give me extension and motion, and I will construct the universe. The greatest minds are capable of the greatest vices as well as of the greatest virtues. Doubt everything. The chief cause of human errors is to be found in the prejudices picked up in childhood. I hope that posterity will judge me kindly, not only as to the things which I have explained, but also to those which I have intentionally omitted, so as to leave to others the pleasure of discovery. Conquer yourself, rather than the world. I am accustomed to sleep, and in my dreams to imagine the same things that lunatics imagine when awake. Illusory joy is often worth more than genuine sorrow. But possibly I am something more than I suppose myself to be. To know what people really think, pay attention to what they do rather than what they say. When writing about transcendental issues, be transcendentally clear.
Except our own thoughts, there is nothing absolutely in our power. I'm indeed amazed when I consider how weak my mind is and how prone to error. Traveling is almost like talking with those of other centuries. It is only prudent never to place complete confidence in that by which we have even once been deceived. Thanks for watch. Subscribe.